Today we have a special tool to unbox. This is the Dakoyu 2nd Anniversary Edition. Now, if you guys will remember, this was the first anniversary edition. This was the precursor, the fan exclusive. That was one of their special tools that was pretty much like a ARC Free P4. It was a clone in the middle between those two. And then this right here was their first fan exclusive, which was pretty neat. This reminded me a lot of the Leatherman Wave Alpha. This is their 2nd anniversary edition. So I just recently got this in the mail, and you open this package up. I really like how it's packaged. That's why I'm showing you this. Then we flip this around. I went ahead and cut this right here, and then you've got a special presentation box. Got this pretty nice upgraded sheath, and then the tool itself in this very nicely packaged box. Now, there is a reason that this is a premium tool from Dakoyu Tools. This has some features and specifications that other tools have not had, and let's get to that. But first of all, this is their redesigned pouch. It's got the logo on it. I think they had this maybe for the last one, but this you can carry either way. It does have these pockets to store some things on the side. Inside there is also a place where you can put some bits right there. So pretty nice. Extra, this is your lanyard loop if you do not want the pocket clip and want to just use the pouch. Let's get those out of the way. So there will be several differences between the first anniversary edition and the second. I believe you can still buy the first anniversary edition. It is still on their website. It looks like there is 55 units of this special limited run of 100 units left. So this comes in the M390 still. It has a nice thumb tab. Then the scales are made out of CNC machine TC4 titanium. I do like how these scales are. They're pretty nice. The design, the grip of the scales seems pretty nice. They seem fairly comfortable. I like that part of it. Really neat. One of the things I did not realize, and I'll have to see, yeah, I do not think the previous version, well, I guess they did have this to some extent. A lot of times we talk about these overseas multi-tools and about the handle wobble. And one of the ways that they have gotten rid of that or got around that is they have actually made it so these handles interconnect with each other. I think that's the first time maybe I have seen that on a multi-tool. I'm trying to think. Even Leatherman doesn't have that, and these have little tabs that also sit in there. So you have pretty much like a rock solid handles. They just fit right together. Now, when you open these up, yeah, I mean, it's really hard to see any handle wobble that way, but that's a way to sort of get rid of people saying, oh, I can't stand the handle wobble. Very clever design. This does have a glass breaker in the bottom. Yeah, that is not something you had with the first anniversary edition. This has the replaceable replaceable pocket clip where you can take this out. Whoa, and there it popped out. All right, so there is the pocket clip back in place. This is the alternate version where you can, let's see, take this out. Let's take this back out. Then, yeah, we could put that in place if you would prefer that over your pocket clip. I really like how they have put a lot of thought into this design. Really neat, some of these features right here. All right, so let's go ahead, open this up, or let's go ahead and look at the other outside tools. On this side, diamond file, regular file. Of course, all these lock into place on the outside. Then the saw, that looks pretty good. Scissors. Let's go ahead just to make sure, give these a whirl, see how these turn out with paracord. Yeah, these are really, really good. Any more I think it's good to test all the tools you get because you never know. But yeah, these scissors are really, really nice. I do like that. Now, what we have right here is, it almost looks like copper washers, but that's a nice touch. And then even on the inside. This will be a premium tool at $130. That is something that we are not used to paying for anything other than a Victorinox or a Leatherman, or perhaps a Gerber. But this tool definitely does have some upgraded materials. Now, they come out and say that this is a CNC machined plier head, that this is an upgraded plier head right here. And I thought that was pretty neat how they call it the S42030 plier heads. And then tungsten alloy cutters, these wire cutters. So we have known for a while now these plier heads are pretty much, I think, the same looking design. I'm not saying they're the exact same thing as you see in the $30 Mossy Oak on Amazon, but it is pretty neat that they are able to make these really tough, durable plier heads. They do have this place right here in the bottom where you could potentially use that as crimpers. On this side, there is the Leatherman style bit holder, double-sided. This has the wire stripper and then the package opener, perhaps a screwdriver of sorts in a pinch. On the opposing side, can opener, rope cutter, all. That is the tool set on this tool. So some of the things I really like about this is definitely this upgraded steel blade at the M390. I like the thumb stud, the scales right here, these titanium TC4, and also, of course, the plier head that we have been seeing a lot more recently. I like that this is a tougher plier head. All in all, it seems like a really nice tool. I like how they are trying to really present this nice. It is well thought out. Again, what we are seeing is a mainstream tool from overseas where they are adding this and outfitting this with premium materials and making it a lot nicer than it was originally. One of the things to keep in mind is this second anniversary edition does have a purple titanium scale set that you can order. Also, the first anniversary edition had a very easy to open knife blade, almost like assisted. The second anniversary edition is more your normal knife blade, so it's not necessarily better or worse. It's just something up to you, whatever your preference is. That's just something to think about. These pocket clips are definitely different as well. This first anniversary edition had a special pocket clip where you pushed in this button, and then this came out where this is more not exactly your Leatherman, but it's a version, their version of a Leatherman pocket clip where it relies on this your locking lever to sort of hold it in place. Some of the other differences between these two editions is that the second edition, they do not worry about the roller markings, just like the Leatherman Wave Alpha doesn't either. Now in the first edition, they did have roller markings. One of the things to consider is this is M390, where the first edition was Magna Blade. It was their version of what they considered pretty much the equivalent of Magna Cut. When we open this up, we've just got normal wire cutters. On the first edition, they made a special run of these. You could either use these wire stripper wire cutters, or you could, they had just a normal set of wire cutters included. Both of these are pretty nice, but I just wanted to point out there are some fairly distinct differences. This one will be just a little bit smaller in the scale. And then when we open this up, this does have the 1/4 inch driver bit, where this has the Leatherman style bit, and then that wire cutter and package opener and so forth. On the other side, there is 3 tools on this first edition one. There was a little bit of a different tool set where it had the different wire cutter, the small screwdriver, larger screwdriver, can opener right there, and then the wire stripper was on this one. Yeah, so some differences. So make sure that you check out both of these models. I believe that they're both still available. Now, this version is not available on the Dawson Tool website. On the previous website, where it used to be partnered with the Canadian partner, which has been dissolved, this is still for sale, I think for $89, not the white, but just the silver version. So for those of you interested, as far as I can tell, essentially the second anniversary edition is based off of this tool right here, which will be very similar to like the mossy oak that you can buy in G10 off of Amazon. This is another version. I think this is actually Dakoyu's version of the more original tool. You can buy this off of AliExpress and BHBT. This is, nothing really special added except the G10 scales, where the second anniversary edition really is the Cadillac or the Mercedes version of this tool. The first anniversary edition is a little bit of a thinner, slimmed down model, which is based off of this tool right here. You can see the completely different wire, the pliers, and then, yeah, it's more of a slim line handle, and it has some different features. Both of these are pretty great tools. I'll let you decide which one you would prefer. So let's go ahead and measure this. Go ahead, weigh it first. Turn this on. Now they say it comes in around 10.5 ounces. Let's go ahead and check that out. 10.6 ounces, and then changing this to grams, 300 grams. Now measuring the length of this, it comes in about 10.5 centimeters, or for those of us who use inches all the time, just over 4 inches, maybe about 4¼ inches long, the frame size. Overall, a really nice tool. So it's nice to have these in my collection. All these are pretty great from Dakoyu Tools.